So the fall risk profile, obviously it's not a pathology, but more so we're trying to evaluate, someone's risk associated with falling. And then of course, when someone is at a high risk, all the other associated factors that go along with falling, such as increase in hospitalization, potential fatality, other more serious medical conditions as a result of that. So typically we definitely see a decrease in speed. They tend to walk slower because they're concerned. There's a typical fear of following, either conscious or unconscious. We tend to see a increase in contact time, also offsetting, some of the changes in speed characteristic. They typically are much more stable, obviously, when they have 2 feet in contact with the ground. So an increase in the double support phase as well. We may also see an increase in the overall stride duration, just another characteristic as a result of that. And that's really because they're increasing in the amount of time that they're spending in contact with the ground. The pronosupination, you may start to see some compensatory strategies as a result of that. So oftentimes with their sort of shuffling gait, they don't have as much of an angle on the attack or on heel strike. They also tend to have a decreased angulation on the propulsion phase. So as they're going into that toe off position, because they're walking more flat footed, because the more of their foot they have in contact with the ground, the more stable that they're going to be in. So that's going to change their potential pronosupination angulation. Toe clearance is a really big one, because the higher they lift up their foot, the potential longer it takes, the more time that they're spending on one leg versus in the double support phase. So also that's a risk of tripping over something, even stuff that is really low profile, like a carpet or something like that. So looking at, just spending more time in contact with the ground. And even if you look at their propulsion, we will see typically, and it's a common strategy in the older adult population, which is to decrease hip flexion, because they don't have as good stabilization for core. That a compensatory strategy is to increase it in the plantar flexors. But again, that's going to be, still somewhat minimal, because they don't want to spend as much time in the air. So their swing phase is going to be reduced. They're not going to spend as much time in that propulsion phase. So in that toe off phase either.